She arrived with a gift bag balanced on one wrist, the paper crinkling softly when she set it down. That sound wrapping rustle presentation had followed her for years. It was how she entered rooms, with something to offer, something to smooth the edges. She didn't mind. She had told herself she liked being the one who remembered birthdays, who noticed when shoes were worn thin, who paid attention when others didn't. The meet was casual. A rented space with folding tables and the smell of grilled meat drifting in from outside. Her brother waved from across the room, already holding a drink. His wife stood near him, laughing at something someone else had said. The kids, no longer kids, really, clustered near the speakers, music too loud for conversation but not loud enough to discourage it. She took a seat near the end of the table. She always did. It was practical. It made it easier to get up, to help to refill trays. People needed less when they could see her. Her nephew was drunk enough to be brave. He had always been sharp, quick with jokes, the kind of charm that drew attention even when it wasn't deserved. She watched him lean back in his chair, arms slung around a friend, voice rising with the alcohol. Everyone knows, he said, gesturing vaguely in her direction. She's just the sad-aunt who buys love. The sentence arrived fully formed, as if it had been practiced. Not cruel enough to be shocking, not gentle enough to be harmless. Laughter followed. Not explosive, but broad, easy. The kind that assumes consent. She looked at her sister-in-law. There it was, half a smile, half a reflex. Not a protest, not a correction, just acceptance, as if the words had named something already agreed upon. She didn't feel heat. She felt a narrowing, a clean internal click. Like a drawer closing. She stood. The chair legs scraped lightly against the floor. No one noticed at first. When they did, it was only to assume she was going to the restroom, or the car, or to fetch something else that would be useful. She left without saying goodbye. In the car, she sat for a moment before starting the engine. She didn't cry. That surprised her, and then it didn't. There were tears for misunderstandings. This had not been one. Over the next few days, nothing happened, no apology, no follow-up message framed as concern. Silence, complete and unembarrassed. She noticed how often she had been filling gaps without being asked, school fees when there was a delay, groceries when hours were cut, gifts that were really substitutes for presents. She had never said no, because no one had ever acknowledged that yes was optional. On the fourth day, she logged into her accounts. It was a Tuesday morning, the kind that invites administrative tasks. Coffee cooled beside her laptop. She didn't dramatize it. She changed passwords. Removed her name from a shared streaming plan. Ended a recurring transfer she had set up years ago, temporarily, to help with extracurriculars. She resigned from the volunteer role she held for her nephew's program, the one that had quietly made her indispensable. She sent no announcements. She closed tabs. The first text arrived that afternoon. Hey, did something happen to the payment? It didn't go through. She read it and set the phone face down. Another followed. Probably a glitch. Can you check when you get a sec? By evening, the tone had shifted. We really need that sorted out. Then the calls started. Missed, then repeated. A cluster of messages stacking up like a leaning tower. Did you change something? This is urgent. Please call. She waited until the next morning to respond. Not because she was punishing anyone, but because she wanted to answer from a place that felt level. I've adjusted my finances, she wrote. I won't be covering those expenses anymore. The typing bubbles appeared, vanished, reappeared. What do you mean? Since when? This puts us in a really bad spot. She imagined the scramble on the other end, calendars shifting, assumptions breaking. The same people who had laughed now measuring her absence in numbers. Her brother called. She let it ring once, twice, then answered. You can't just pull the rug out like this, he said, skipping greeting entirely. We were counting on you. I know, she said. Her voice sounded unfamiliar to her, steady, almost formal. Her sister-in-law took the phone. This feels retaliatory, she said. You left without saying anything, and now this. She considered that. Retaliation implied intent to harm. What she had done felt more like maintenance. I left because I was dismissed, she said. I made changes because I was expected. Silence. Then, you're being dramatic. That old word. The one used to flatten anything inconvenient. I'm being clear, she said. Messages continued through the day, then the next. Some apologetic, some defensive. One from her nephew himself, short, awkward, blaming the alcohol. She didn't reply immediately. She reread the original sentence in her mind. How easily it had been said. How easily it had been received. When she did respond, it was brief. I'm stepping back. Please make other arrangements. The panic slowed, then thinned. Questions replaced demands. Then gradually quiet. Weeks later, she ran into her sister-in-law at a grocery store. The encounter was polite, careful. They spoke about weather, about sales, about nothing that mattered. Driving home, she felt the cost of what she'd done. The family dynamic hadn't exploded. It had rebalanced, awkwardly. She was less central now, less needed. The absence was real, so was the relief. She hadn't proven anyone wrong. She hadn't corrected the story they told about her. She had simply stopped funding it. Whether they would ever understand the difference didn't feel like her responsibility anymore.